The E3 Sparkplug Super Modified Tractors are here at Greenville, Ohio to do battle on the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League. It's still early in the season, but it's shaping up to be a great points race this year. So far, Ricky Long and the MAV TV Lucas Oil has a slight edge, but the whole class is in striking distance, and two-time defending champion Bill Leischner stands just 4 points behind as he looks to achieve the three-peat this year. The 10,000 horsepower multi-engine action starts now.
Tractor pulling. The ultimate test of power. Purpose-built vehicles create thousands of horsepower using turbos and superchargers, alcohol fuel, and multi-engine configurations to see who can pull the farthest. A sled weighing thousands of pounds is used to stop the pulling vehicles. A moving weight box progressively adds resistance to end the run. The sled is customized for classes ranging from customized farm tractors to multi-engine modifieds. Teams spend countless hours preparing their machines for competition. Thousands of dollars are spent traveling to events across 10 states, maximizing power and repairing broken parts. The season is long, and the competitors have to maintain focus every pull to compete for a class championship. This is tractor pulling with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.
Welcome to the Old Smoky Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Wyotech. We're here at Darke County Fairgrounds in Greenville, Ohio. Ken Stout and Leslie Mears here to cover the action for you. Before it's all said and done, we're going to bring out those multi-engine monsters, the super modified tractors, but we have a new category we're going to treat you to here as well. It's called the Light Limited Pro Stocker.
And it's kind of a hybrid category where you get a mix of limited pro stock tractors as well as light pro stock tractors. And so this is kind of a more economical class, if you can really call anything about tractor pulling economical out here. You've got the limited pros out here with 640 cubic inches. They are limited on their turbo. They run a 4.1 by about 4.5 turbo. No map ring though, and no intercooler on any of the vehicles in this category. So they're gonna make about 1,800 to 2,000 horsepower here with the limited pros. And that's what you're seeing here in Josh Lee and the Moolah Taker, our first tractor of the class.
Boy, and he has that thing spooled up. The Old School International looking so good, puts 3:18 and 14 on the board. That is a solid effort right out of the box.
And he's a stout tractor, finished first at the inaugural event of the season and sixth in points last season. So you know that he's going to be strong when he comes out of the gate.
Nice and straight right down the center of the track. It looks like the track is set up and ready to rock and roll. A Moolah Taker sends a message to the rest of the class. They better get up on the wheel here today.
And just an interesting class that you'll find here. A great mix of light pro stocks and limited. It's about equal. And you can see here Dave Whitney, a force to be reckoned with here inside the category. Lots of folks here, of course, all from Ohio with their tractors, because this is primarily where you'll see this hybrid class performing.
All right, next up it's going to be called Turbodacious. And the man behind the wheel is Travis Harrah.
He will be our first light pro stock tractor. Now these guys a little bit different, 540 cubic inches, no turbo limit here because they are down on cubes. They run about a 4.5 turbo and they create just a little bit more horsepower than our limited pros.
Boy, and you can hear that turbo chirp down as it spools down, 285 and 66. Not enough to take over the lead, of course, but pretty solid effort out here as it stands right now.
And you can see just taking his time to dump that clutch off the line, and before he goes full throttle, and just a huge wheel stand. Just a little too much off the line. Probably could have used another one of those 100-pound weights there on the nose to keep that down just a little bit.
We'll continue on with the category here. Up next will be Dave Whitney with a beautiful John Deere called Ground Force, and it's kind of difficult to tell the difference between the classes. there's no class designation on the tractor itself, so you just kind of have to know who the players are and what the machine is and where it fits in.
And this is a limited pro stock tractor, and the limited pro category kind of fits in with the John Deere guys, light ground force, because that comes 619 from the factory. So to take it to 640, not that big a deal.
Boy, and he really carries the front end up there as well. 307 and 62, a beautiful effort there. Will step up into second place. 307 and 62, and again, you know, dancing that front end way up in the air. Watch this thing, once he gets hooked up and he goes to power, it sends the front end way up in the air. He probably could have used a little more weight on the nose as well.
He's got much more room up there, but again, just one of the variables that all of our pullers have to deal with. You know, how much air are we going to put in the tires? What gear are we going to run the tractor at? You know, how much weight are we going to be able to move around on the tractor? And you can see he's got the front end loaded down. They've probably got a few weights back there also right around the hook point. So they want to have all that weight, that down force on the rear tires as well, but they've got to make sure that they get that perfect balance between the front and the back.
It's called Rush Hour. John Lichty with a beautiful International. And Rush Hour with John Lichty behind the wheel. That limited International with the 299 to 58 up on the board. A good effort there. Good enough to enter the top three. We'll be right back.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by E3 Spark Plugs, born to burn. General Tire, anywhere is possible. And by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
Everybody's having a great time here at the Old Smoky Nationals presented by Wyotech. Disposable income is up next.
Jeremy Lee finishing at second at the inaugural event of the season and seventh in last season's point hunt, so a very capable tractor.
Easy, easy. Oh, man, he pulled that thing back just in the nick of time. That left rear was right over there by the sideline. If you touch the white chalk, you're DQ'd, but he pulled it back.
He's really got the beginnings of an awesome run going here, though, and you can see he corrects early, which leads him heading towards that left sideline. And like a veteran, he just lets it float over there. You can see he's stabbing those brakes hard and turning that steering wheel as hard as he can and brings it back just in the nick of time.
Unfortunately, it will affect his distance at 293 and 18. Had he not had to get into the brakes, might have been right up there with the leaders all said and done. As we continue on in the category, up next will be Jeremy Smith, the high-strung John Deere.
Actually competed in the Super Farm category and then converted over to a Limited Pro. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Let's see if he can keep it going.
And right at the very end, it tugs him over there to the left side of the track. 297 and 32 is going to be the distance for the high-strung.
And it looks so good off the line. It's just surprising that he comes up a little short on the distance because he comes out of the hole, he lifts the front end. Yeah, it might be a little bit high, but it sure looks good going down the track. Lets it float off to the sideline, has to stab the brake just a little bit at the end. But unfortunately, that cross-track traffic really hurts him in the end.
As we continue on with our light limited pro stock category, next up onto the sled is going to be Travis Tilton. It's called Always Something. That's a perfect name, by the way, for anything in motorsports. It seems like something is always going wrong. Man, he spooled that thing up and then got right after it. 290 and 26. Nice looking effort, but not enough to jump up there with the leaders.
And you know, not a typical run here by Travis Tilton as he finished second in the points hunt last year on the Ohio State Tractor Pulling Association circuit. Seems like everybody is fighting the same problem, and that's finding that perfect balance of weight on the tractor.
All right, let's take a look at our top three here as we go to break. Josh Lee is leading the group, followed by David Whitney and John Lichty. We'll be right back. We're at Dark County Fairgrounds here in Greenville, Ohio with Old Smoky Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Wyotech. This is our light limited pro stock category. Up next, one of the John Deere's inside of the category. This is going to be Kevin Smith. Woo, what a ride. Finally, it tugs that thing down. I mean, it was kind of strange. The RPMs went down, they shot back up, then it tugged it back down again. So he was busy behind the wheel trying to get it down there.
And this is where you find those rear tires loading and unloading. As soon as that front end comes down, they have to use all their horsepower to pick the front end back up, and it just continues down the track. So unfortunately, his horsepower was used to try to lift the front end instead of pull the sled down the track.
Well, Josh Lee, our leader, will have to survive one more effort. Gary Gallimore coming up next with the Road Rage Therapy. The Alice Chalmers is the last tractor in the category, and we've seen this happen many times before where the last tractor will step up and steal the win.
Finished third in the 2013 points race, but at Dover, Ohio, at the first event of the season, barely made it off the line, so mechanical failure right off the bat.
Boy, that one just eating itself up. Actually, you could tell right from the very beginning it just didn't have that jet stream of coal black smoke coming out of the top of it. So almost an indicator right away that something was not correct with the fuel mixture.
And you can see that the smoke starts to come out of the sheet metal right away as soon as he goes full throttle, and could be a number of things inside that make that difference there. I'm going to say he could have had a line come off there somewhere, or maybe just in his tubing that transfers all his air throughout the inside of that machine. It could have come undone, causing that problem.
Nonetheless, exciting for the fans to watch, but it's going to be Josh Lee that's going to steal the win here today. Excellent job. He was first up to the sled and really set the mark to beat at 3:18 and 14, followed by Dave Whitney, John Lichty, Jeremy Smith, and Travis Tilton in your top five. Let's go down and talk to our winner.
I was just talking to Josh Lee, and he said, hey, I don't normally do this kind of stuff. I'm not good at this kind of stuff. I said, well, you're real good at doing pulling, so take me through the run. You won the overall tonight. That's got to make you happy.
Very much so. This is 2 in a row, and it's been a long last season. We started off well this season. We hope to continue it.
All right, stay with us. The super modified tractors are coming up next. Yeah, the multi-engine class, and it's always exciting. We'll be right back.